Hello guys, welcome back to a video. Today's day 45, season 3, so let's go video. Stand after here, got the defender, car trailer, and all the car parked up. And we got the man here getting back in the cab after filling up the tank with petrol, so in the local Shell garage. Now, as many of you may know, this is an Iveco. Now, it's not particularly new. It's kind of, well, it is old, and I'm not so sure the proper year, but yeah, it's not your average tanker, but it's still nice to see the old tanker still getting used despite its age. As you can see, the stickers have seen better days. That one's not too bad, but yeah, still doing the job. But yeah, it's nice to see an old Iveco still going. Mini digger parked up. Grading buckets still there. Trailer yard scraper, keening and roller in the shed. Ducks and ducklings knocking about. Nice 200s just parked there. 7740 with the back window open again. I think the cock was lying up the back window there. And just parked up in the shed with the chickens and chicks knocking around it. Baler, wrapper, mower, rake, drill forger, and lawnmower. See, the reason the lawnmower is parked there, so there's a bit more space there, and well, it's a bit more protected there. And obviously, as you can see, it's easy to get on. The rake isn't going to be on your face because the tine is above the steering wheel. And I think the farm's thinking of getting a bench and maybe a tool thing, just a little workshop, so it's not all being stored in the back of the Defender. So we've got the barrels and obviously the wrap there. But these two sheds are sort of connected. I don't know if you guys knew this, but it's sort of connected either side. There's like a hole or gap. Obviously leads to that side where the spreader is and that. So. And then here we have the farmer's son, sorry, in a 6x20 John Deere. With a log split on the back. It's not his, they're just borrowing it. They did have one exactly like this, and them and the other farm shared it. But basically, the other farm was borrowing it off a farmer. So obviously we could use it. So he's splitting a log there. He's got some split logs there, and he's got the full logs in here. And he's got the chainsaw just in case he needs to trim them down a bit. And you got the farmer there putting the logs on and taking the logs off. And you got the disco on the sheep trailer with the logs from the other farm. T6175 parked up. They may be thinking of taking the air horns off one of the two tractors. They don't know yet. I think the farmer's son might want to put a light bar on the T6, so he probably wants to take them off for that. Spared edge cutter in the back of the shed. As you can see, still the two fert bags and the fert spreader in the back of the shed, so they're going to need to order a couple more fert bags at some point. We've got Matt's Land Rover parked up there. Diane parked up in the shed. I think they're thinking of redoing the concrete in this at some point, and whether that'll be now or in a couple of months, I don't know. But the farmer has spoken about it. Got the usual stuff: the buck rake, pallet forks, bale trailer, hurdles, stuff like that. Obviously, side tray still parked up, as she won't be doing anything. Doesn't look like they'll be doing maize this year, well, they haven't been asked to, so it's on standby if they need to though. Yeah, flatbed and double bay lifter. And here we have Taylor bucket, Marshall lug spreader, and the T6 parked up. T6080, sorry, but she's never normally parked up here. I don't think any tractor's been parked up here before, but it's been a while. Now we've got Matt in the 6616, the muck wrap on. It's a rare sight nowadays, to be fair, to see this. With the Herbsum trail on the back, and he's just coming back after helping the farmer clear a bit of Well, basically, he was trying to clean up his yard a bit to make a bit of space, which included moving piles of mud and whatever. So, and getting rid of a bunch of nipples, which was handy with the muck grab. So, yeah, he's been doing that for the past 2 days, and he's just bringing it back to the farm. So nice to see her out and doing something. They will get more jobs now with the muck spreader and dump trailer, as it's kind of that time of year where you would be using them. Not so much the sort of baling kit, size kit, or maybe the size trailer, double bay lifter, bale trailer, mini digger, stuff like that, roller, stuff like that basically. Obviously they do their own farming, but they do, I suppose you could say, a bit of contracting to get a bit of money in. So that's how they get their money. Apart from obviously selling animals and what have you, they do a bit of work for everyone. So like I said, moving bales in the winter. There's a lot to do in the winter. Obviously in the summer there's a lot more because you can use the silage kit. And they've also got the lawnmower. And obviously if they end up buying a log splitter, you can do that. You know, stuff like that. And obviously the farmer did a bit in construction before he went into farming. So obviously he still does a bit of construction now. So he's obviously making money. So he has like the need for a digger, the trailers and what have you, cement mixer, stuff like that. But obviously in the winter there's not too much to do, so it's kind of mainly farming jobs. So yeah, nice to see 660 out. It's been a while, and she just tends to sit in the shed. So, and in the field, the IBC's still here somehow, not blown away yet. And you got sheep knocking about in the field, wait for them to come in at some point. And as you see, cows are getting desperate for the grass, so they're going against the verges again. I think this cow has spooked herself. I think she's tried to go for the grass and she stood on the back, and obviously because it's fiberglass, it's not very heavy, so it just sprung back at her. So I think she spooked herself a bit, so I'll have to be flipped over at some point. And you got the others just probably dreaming about having grass. Yeah, the farmer hasn't said sort of any updates on when they're coming in and if they are coming in earlier or if they're all going to come in at the same time. Obviously that would involve emptying the shed and moving kit. He doesn't like to move kit into a field, as sometimes it can be boggy and you ruin the field, or sometimes it'll affect the growth of the grass depending on what time of year you do it. Also, he does have a massive yard, but he doesn't tend to keep it in fields. And if he does, as you can see, he keeps it along the hedge, so it's not, you know, bumped in the field. And he also doesn't really tend to trust animals in with the kit, as I believe something broke a couple of years ago, and then a tractor was parked in the field and a bull was using it to scratch, and he snapped the front linkage somehow. Don't know how, but he snapped one of the front arms. So he's not too fussed on keeping the kit in the fields. Obviously there is space for it, especially when the sheep and cows aren't in. The sheep aren't that bad, they'll just use it as sort of protection from the wind. It's the cows he's not really trusting. Yeah, obviously, I mean, he has a big enough yard that he doesn't have to necessarily keep things in fields apart from animals. So yeah, and also, as you can see, it's getting a bit wet. So you can tell it's getting winter again. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a full stack of firewood in the shed at some point. And obviously there will be more firewood on the way, because that's not going to last them the whole winter. And then here we have a farmer in his John Deere 7930 with a John Deere 840i spray on the back. Nice setup that. Now I'm pretty sure it extends quite far out. So and obviously with a big tractor, I imagine he's probably a big arable farmer or something like that. But yeah, 7930. You think it's kind of big for this area, but it's really not. Obviously you've got the TVT with the contractors. That's quite a big tractor. But yeah, it's a nice John Deere setup. Comment down below if you know with the sort of how much feet the sprayer comes out, because I'm pretty sure it's quite wide, but I don't know how. I don't know sort of the specifics. And then behind him we have a nice newer T5 120, the newer one. The other T5s were nice. I'm not too fussed on the new one. I think, well, the thing I don't like is like the new Holland stickers. I just prefer the old ones, I think. Obviously comes with LED beacons on it as well, but they're not a bad tractor. He's got a cultivator on the back. Coming back from, well, he's just giving it a wash. I think he's probably heading into town. So he's heading back to his farm. He's heading into town after washing off the cultivator, and I believe it's his brand new tractor. So very nice. So if you enjoyed the video guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and bye.